Hey there, welcome back. So today we're going to be taking a look here at how to take our level select screen and set everything disabled, and then we're going to have a global in our scripts here, which is going to be the game data manager, and it's going to save information about whether or not a level should be unlocked. So currently I have it just with level 1 unlocked, 0 high score, and then 0 stars. Now if I go to my level here and just play this little scene, level 1 should know that it's unlocked and turn from red to green. And there we go. And then the other levels are not unlocked, so they stay locked like that. So, thanks for joining, and let's jump right in. Okay, so welcome back. I'm trying out a new microphone, so let me know if it's better or worse in the description down below. Feel free. So today we're going to take a look at saving data. So currently on our level select screen, we just have it set so that just the one level is active and the other levels aren't. We're going to talk about how we can save data so that the levels know if they should be active or not, and so that the player's progress can carry over from one game session to the next. So the first thing we're going to do is go into the script window, and we're going to make a new script. So we're going to go File, New, and this is going to inherit from Node. And for the path, I'm going to put this in my scripts folder, and I'm going to call this Game Manager. Well, let's call it Game Data Manager. And this is going to save our information about our levels. And let's create that. Now, the way that we're going to be saving this is we're going to be using a dictionary. A dictionary is a kind of a way to have an array inside of an array. We talked about this last time. Each entry has a key, and that key has a value. So, for example, if I wanted to save some information about an alien, let's actually create a dictionary here so that we can go about how we would do that. So, if I wanted to have a dictionary, I'll call this alien. And then the information inside the dictionary. So let's say that I want to know that let's call this var. Let's say that I want to know So sorry about that word cut. So we're going to say that So we're going to say that we're going to have a var alien, and this is going to be equal to its own dictionary. And inside the dictionary, I'm going to put some different keys. So the first one might be enemy name, and I'm going to set the enemy name to be, say, Phil. Now, for the next entry in the dictionary, I'm going to say that we have, let's see, on top of the enemy name, we're also going to do like its color. So enemy color, and I'll put this as green. And then it should have a comma after it as well. And then we'll do enemy speed, and I'll set that to, say, 5. So now you'll notice that this should be in quotations because it's a string. Same thing with green. Okay, and then this is an integer. And then let's do one more that would use a Boolean value. So let's say enemy active true. This is a way that we can store information on one particular enemy. So for example, this would be a way of you having a dictionary for exactly what this one particular alien is. So alien Phil is green, he has a speed of 5, and he's currently active. Or she, who knows, could be Philomena. But this is one way that you can create a dictionary. And if I wanted to reference values from that dictionary, so I'm going to use my ready function here to show this. I wanted to do, let's say, print alien. And what I want to print from alien is enemy name. And close it with the square brackets. So I'm going to use these square brackets similar to how I would do an array. Now I'm going to go to my project settings, I'm going to add this to my preloads again, or my auto loads rather. I'm going to find my scripts, and where did I put it? I'm going to call it Game Save Manager, Game Data Manager. There it is. We're going to add this to our preloads. Now, if I hit play, you should see, there we go. So the enemy name is Phil. Now, if you want to, you can also add a new key. So I'm going to, here, in the ready function, I'm going to add a new key and a value for it. So I'm going to say alien size is equal to 10. And then instead of printing alien or enemy name, I want to print the size. So I'll save this and let's replay. And there we go. It added a new key to the dictionary along with its value, and then it printed that value. So we're going to save data with a key, that's the level number, and as a value, we'll store another dictionary. So that's going to look like this. So I'm just going to create like a basic idea of it up here. So we'll call it this var level info is equal to, and then as our first entry, we're going to do level 1, and then level 1 is going to have its own dictionary associated with it. And then in level 1's dictionary, what I want to have is, let's call this unlocked, and we'll default that to true since this is level 1. And then we'll also have high score, and we'll set this to 0. And then we will do stars unlocked, and we'll set that at 0 to default as well. So then in here, if I wanted to know that information, I'm just going to do print level info. So this is just me kind of going over a bit more about how dictionaries work and how we're going to be kind of structuring our data here. So if I hit play, you should see the level info play out here. So level 1, high score is 0, stars unlocked is 0, and unlocked is true. So these are the 3 different key values for level 1. And we can add different levels as we go. They don't have to be built in already. So we can add a new key, just like I showed you how we added that enemy size. And then that allows us to dynamically change the size of the dictionary so that we can start just with this default value for what we want our level info to be. So knowing that, let's get started on creating our save data system. So what I want to do first is I want to create an empty dictionary for our level info. So I'm going to call this var level info is equal to, and then this is going to be just an empty dictionary. And then I want to make an onReady variable for the path. Path is equal to user / save.dat. And I'm creating this binary customly. You could call this file whatever you wanted to. You could call it, I don't know, bob.bob or something like that. I'm just doing save.dat because that's usually how I do these. So similar to how we did this with the config file, I'm going to start with how to save the data. So down here in my, I don't need a process delta. I can get rid of that. So down here, I'm going to make a new function called save data. And then I'm going to have another function for loading data. Load data. Now the save data function, I'm going to create a new reference to a file. So I'm going to say var file is equal to file.new, which is going to create a new file. Then I'm going to create an error, which is file.open. And I want to open it at the path, and I want to use file.write because I want to write to the file because I'm saving data. Now, after I do that, I want to check to see if the error isn't okay. So if error is not equal to okay, then I'm going to print a little statement. So print something went wrong, and I'll just return from this function. Next, I want to look at how to load data. So I'm going to go, or sorry, not load data. I want to finish this out. So I'm going to do file.store variant. And the variant I want to store is the level info. And then file.close. Unlike the config file, you always want to make sure that you're closing your file as you're using it so that you're not taking up too much space in memory. All right, cool. Now, just to go over what we did, we created a new file. We created an error, which goes to that path. If we're not okay, then we're just going to return, meaning if the file isn't created, then we're going to store our variant, which is level info, and then we're going to close the file. Now we could store the variant as a JSON file, which is more human readable. I think it's okay if we just, it should be store. I think it's okay if we just do store var. I don't think we need to talk about converting to JSON data. So then for my load data function, I'm going to do a similar setup. So var file is equal to file.open, or no, sorry, file.new. And then var err is file.open path, and then this is going to be file.read because we're loading the data, so we're reading it. I'm going to say if error is not equal to okay, then I'm going to print that something went wrong, but with slightly different wording so that I know if it's this error or the other one. Now before I do this, I want to have some kind of default level info. So I'm going to set that up here. I'm going to make var default level info is equal to, and I'm going to have my keys here, so 1. So by default I only want the player to have access to level 1. That'll be changed as they play. And unlocked true, high score 0, and then I want to stars unlocked 0, and I'll save that here. Then I want to, let's see, okay, before I throw up the error, I'm going to say that my I'm going to return my default info here. So return default level info. Okay, and then if we don't have an error, if everything works just fine, if it loads, we're going to say var read, which is the information that it read out, and we're going to set that equal to a new dictionary. And then we're going to say read is equal to file.get var, and what I want to, we're just going to do get var, and then we'll return read. So this is going to return back to whatever function called it the information that was read, and if there isn't a good dictionary already in there, then it will just return the default info. So under ready, what I want to do here is I want to load data, then I'm going to print, actually, let's say level info is equal to load data. Then I want to print level info, and then I'm going to change something and save it. So I'm going to say level info 2, and I want to set level info to equal to, and then I'll say unlocked equals false. Oop, I forgot my quotations. And we'll say hi. Oh, it's not equals, it's the colon. I always forget that. High score 0, and then stars unlocked 0. Okay, cool. Now after I do that, I want to save the data back. This is just for me to make sure that all of this is working. So save data. Then, so now if I hit play, I should see my level info just print the default info. So let's try that. Okay, so here's my default info. Now, behind the scenes, it should have already set level 2 and then resaved it. So if I rerun the current scene, I should see some information for level 2 as well. Level 2, high score, stars unlocked. So you can see how you can just add information when the level is finished. If the level knows what level it is, it knows what your high score was, and it knows how many stars you unlocked, you can just add information to it from there. So how this is going to work. What I want to do here first, so I'm going to say level info equals load data, and then I'm going to set level info equal to default level info, and then I'm going to do save data. Alright, save this, and then I'm going to run it so that it'll actually do what I want it to. Alright, cool. So now my level info is actually equal to my default info, so that's good. Now, I'm going to go to my scenes here, and I'm going to find my level select scene, which is where I have all my buttons. And the buttons are going to be able to know if they should be active or not based on how, based on their disposition inside the game data save thingy thing that I just made. That's the technical term. Game data save thingy thing. Get rid of process delta here. I'm going to do some stuff in ready, so I don't want to get rid of that. And get tree change scene. Game menu. Oh, this is for the quit button. I should have renamed that to quit button. Okay, so actually I think I need to look at my level backdrop, and then I need to look at my level buttons themselves. And then the level buttons will know whether they're enabled or not. Holy cow, I already did this. Sweet. I always forget when I do stuff a little bit well, because it always kind of surprises me. Alright, so we're going to say block texture, open texture, goal map. In setup, or in ready here, before we call setup, we're going to say that the whether or not level to load, or sorry, whether or not enabled is true or false. Okay, sorry for that weird cut. Now we need to protect against whether or not that this current level's key exists in the dictionary or not. So we're going to say if game data manager dot level info dot has key, I think it is, and the key we were looking for is level. Then we're going to set enabled is equal to game data manager dot level info, and we want to set it to level because that's the key we're looking for, dot unlocked. And if it which part did I do wrong? 121 dot level info. Oh, do I just do it this way without the parentheses? Huh. Thought that was the right way to do it. Clearly I am wrong. Oh, that's why. So I have to do level unlocked. There we go. All right, cool. And then if this doesn't happen, else enabled equals false. So if I look at just my level backdrop here, so my level backdrop scene, I'm going to look at my level buttons here. I want all of them to be disabled. And if I hit play here, it should see level 1 become active. Oh, okay, so it's not has key. What is it? Hold on for 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. It's just has, not has key. I always forget that. I never use dictionaries very often. I know I should, but I always forget. Okay, let's try this again. Let's see how much I broke it. All right, cool. So even though it was disabled, this one became enabled because it was reading from the dictionary. And the other ones didn't freak out because they knew that they should be disabled. Now, we're going to cover this some more. This is already kind of a long video for what I like to do for this. But we're going to talk about how we can save back information like the high score, whether or not the stars are enabled, stuff like that. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the description down below. Otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter to find out when I post new videos. I'm doing some game development on Twitch now. It's a little bit random, but I tend to plan it out in advance. So if you check my twitch.tv page, twitch.tv/Mr. Taft Creates, you can see a schedule for when I'm planning on working on stuff. And I'm currently developing a little puzzle card game that I'm calling Kitty Quark. So if you want to stop by and check that out or ask any questions, feel free. You can join my Discord. Tons of really cool people in there doing lots of cool stuff with this. So yeah, I hope everybody has themselves a wonderful day. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving a like, subscribing to the channel, or telling a friend who might be interested. Also, please consider following me on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can earn access to tangible rewards, like early access to videos, backer-only videos and series, polls for future topics, streams, and even individual tutoring sessions. You can find a link to that in the description. And as always, have yourselves a wonderful day.